So in terms of regarding art pop, there had been talk of part 2, and you told me the other day that there is really virtually completed an act 2 of the album.
Actually, what I told you is that there's many volumes of work over a long period of time that have just not been released to the public, because I've chosen not to put it into the system that, because, sometimes it's just fun to have records that me and my friends listen to, and we love it. We don't care what anybody else thinks. I don't care. So maybe one day I'll release them. And yeah, I have a whole second active art pop, I do. And I love it. And I love art pop so much. I mean, that album got me through the hardest time. Making that record was, it healed my soul every single night. It's like the most incredible thing when your friend can play a bass line that just gets inside your spirit and your heart like that, and you say, oh, I was feeling so sick, but then you played that, and now I feel so alive, and I feel like I can keep going, and then the words start to come, and then the poetry, and then it becomes a song, and then you and everybody in the room together, you have an experience that's then encapsulated into an auditory moment that will last forever. I mean, it's like, that's what the fuck it's all about.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you've ever felt like, before so alone, or like you just can't go on, or you don't want to go to work, or you're so sad, but it's your creative spirit, It's that thing in you that's rebellious that you can just keep going, because you know that no matter who leaves you in your life, that your talent will never leave you. It will never leave you. So love your passion. Love it harder than anything else.
And, pack your bags and chase the sunset.
Yes.
Love that. Whoa! I love that line. Love that line.
You're just making music.
Exactly. I would love to spend another hour here, but I'm told that we are up against it at 12:30. Something else is in here, so I need to get to the fan questions that were sent to you, and so I am gonna read them to you. You know what? Look, this is what you have to look forward to when you get old.
I'm 28. I'm old for pop stars.
So the first question comes from Emilio Esteban, as opposed to Esteban. I think Esteban. Dear Lady Mother of all Monsters, what vibe, energy, or presence could you say that Austin has compared to any other city you have visited, and is there any comparison to New York City?
It's a great vibe here. I mean, I had the best time this week. I mean, so much love between everyone, so much respect. I didn't see anybody fighting. I didn't see anyone acting hateful or negative. I saw so much positivity and love for music. I saw true, genuine music lovers. And, I think that the most beautiful thing I saw was the artists, the new artists playing, and watching them react to their new fans, watching them react as people came through the door to hear their music, and you'd see their faces light up, or you'd see them get nervous, or you'd see them start performing a little harder, and it made me so happy. I'd say that the vibe actually reminded me a lot of the bars that I used to hang out in all the time with Starlight and Semi-Precious Weapons and the Dirty Pearls. They came with me last night, and they were all saying that it was the best party they'd been to in the longest time, and I think it's because, I think all music lovers are connected. And anytime you put music lovers in a room with beer and a shitty sound system, everybody gets excited.
This next one, you always strike me as a no regrets kind of person, so I'm not sure how you'll feel about this, but it says, this is from Stephen in New York City, looking back on your path to success, what, if anything, would you do differently if you had a second chance?
If I had a second chance, you know, I really wouldn't do anything differently. I really wouldn't. I can't believe every day I wake up, I pinch myself. I can't believe I get to make music and travel the world, and that I have so many people who love it. Thank you. Thank you. And that's really it, you know. I'm very hard on myself, but I don't think that's bad.
No.
I think all artists are. I think we all are very critical and kind of innately damaged, and that's why we make things to fix ourselves.
We were saying the other night, I think one thing you and I share is that we both have a tendency to be a little self-deprecating.
Yeah, self-deprecating humor.
And I always tell people when they're like, why are you down on yourself too much? And I said, because I prefer that to the alternative. And there's way too much of the alternative out there nowadays, right?
Yeah.
So this one completely relates to that moment when applause happened last night with Starlight and all the others from New York. And so the question is, what was the saddest part about rising up and away from that club scene of New York City, and what is the happiest part about it?
Well, I'll start with the happiest. The happiest part about it is that they're all still here with me.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, nothing is more amazing than getting to see the world and bringing all your friends with you. All your friends that you got changed with in the bathroom stalls before you. I used to open for Semi-Precious Weapons before their show. I remember sitting on my bed on Stanton Street, and my apartment was like the size of this stage. And I got a phone call that they wanted me to open for them, and I started screaming. And I called Lady Starlight, and I told her to come over, and we set up turntables in my kitchen.
Wow.
And, you know, the best thing about it is, you know, whether we're at South by on stage together looking out at the crowd, or when we were in Mexico City, I brought them all out on stage with me there, and we're standing in front of 80,000 people singing every word to Born This Way, and we're just looking at each other and going, oh my gosh, every crazy idea that we ever had. Look where we are, look where it took us. You know, we didn't have to change who we were. I didn't let anybody change me. I never let anybody tell me what to do. And as soon as I did, I'll say the saddest, right? The hardest thing about it is it's so hard to say no when you see how many people's lives are affected by the business that we're doing, and you see people making money, and you see their businesses growing, and then they start to really depend on you to keep that money flow happening, and they really want you to, I don't know, maybe they want me to be more perfect, or brush my hair, or you know, not do anything that's too crazy, or they just want me to come, you know, oh, we have it now, you know, you don't have to do anything. And so the sad part is that at some point you have to look at those people that, you know, believe in you and say, you know, my talent matters more to me than the money does. Mm-hmm. And what I have to say matters more to me than the money does. And I know that it's fun being on top, and I know it's fun having everybody wish that, you know, they were number one. But having people envy you really isn't fun at all. Having people feel a part of you and feel one with you, that's the greatest feeling that there is.
You told me a story the other night similar to that about when you came home from the art rave, from the launch party in Brooklyn, and didn't you say there were like kids sort of outside your place, and they had been there, and they said they'd never experienced a night quite like that? And I could tell that was a real moment that stuck with you.
Yeah, there was like 100, 200, hundreds of kids covered in baby Kuntz sculptures and beautiful outfits, and they had taken their wigs off and their masks, and they'd all had too much to drink, and they were all standing on the footsteps of my apartment, and they stopped screaming, and they stopped pulling and asking for pictures, and they just all looked at me and they said, "Gaga, I've never had so much fun in my whole life, and that's the coolest I've ever felt in my whole life." And you know, that's really all that I ever could ask for, is to make somebody feel that way. Make someone feel the way that I felt the first time I walked into a bar and saw Lady Starlight doing her performance art. The first time I walked into a club at pianos and saw Semi-Precious Weapons playing. Or the first time that my ex-boyfriend took me to see the Dirty Pearls and I took my bra off and ran on stage. It's like those moments in music, that's what it's all about, is that experience. It's not about the picture you got for your Twitter. It's about that thing that changed your life, that made you want to be a star, that made you want to go for it. And that's the sad thing, is when you miss it, you want to go back.
Sure.
But I don't have to miss it, because they're all here with me. And I can go back whenever I want, because I would give it up all tomorrow if it meant I had to sell my soul to this business. Don't do it. Don't sell out to this business. Sell in.
Cool.
Sell in.